Hello and a very good day everyone. So today we will learn on how we can actually compile several Excel files which has several worksheets into Power BI. So for example over here, if you notice that in this particular Excel file, we do have a tab like Kuala Lumpur, Ipoh, Seremban, Kuantan, Sungai Petani. So what my manager wants is, my manager wants me to compile all these worksheets into one. And not only that, I don't only have one file. Basically, I have multiple files like regions for China, regions for England, and also if you notice carefully, we have multiple files. So how am I going to compile all these files into one database, and that from the database, I want to actually build a visual in my Power BI. So let's get started. So let me just close all these files first. Okay, so I'm just going to close all these. And let me show how I'm going to actually compile in my Power BI. So first thing is, I need to open a Power BI. I go to actually, instead of clicking import data from Excel, I want to actually click on get data, more. And once I click more, what I need to do is, I actually need to click on folder. So once I click on folder, okay, I just have to click on folder over here. And then the next thing is, I click on browse. So once I click browse, what I need to do is, I need to actually go to the desktop. So depending on where you save your file, so in this case, I save in my desktop under the folder name case study 2. So I'll just open the case study 2. So I need to click the particular folder. So basically, if just say you want to compile several files, you need to choose from folder, get data from folder. I press OK. So once I press OK, and then when I press OK, you will notice a box will appear. So similar like Excel, they will ask us whether we want to combine and load or we want to combine and transform. So what I'm going to do is, I need to actually go to transform data. By clicking transform data, you will notice that we will be navigated to Power Query Editor. So what I'll do is, I will just go to add column and I'll go to custom column. So in this custom column, I'll use a query function called Excel.Workbook. So I'm going to click here Excel.Workbook. So we do have a function called Excel.Workbook, and they will actually ask us a binary. So binary meaning to say, we want to know what is the worksheet, what is the item located in the particular file, because all you have here is the file. So we want to know what is the item or what is the worksheet that resided in this file. So I'm going to select content because this content has binary. So insert over here, and I'm not able to press OK because I need to close bracket. So close bracket, and then I press OK. And just like that, you will notice another column will appear. So this column will show all the worksheets. So I need to actually expand this column, press OK. So what I want is, I want the information in this custom data. So let me just expand one more time and then just press OK. So now when I expand, so now we notice we have expanded data. But please make sure that you are actually expanding the worksheet only. So what I'll do is, I'll click on this arrow and I'll click on text filter. I only want to contain. So because sometimes we do have like table, range and so on. So this one, I only want to contain sheet only, worksheet. So I'm going to press OK, and then we have filtered the row for worksheet. Then what I'll do is, I'll remove the column because we do have so many columns, right? So I'll remove the column. But before I remove the column, I want to separate this because this is the region, the country, and it has .Excel format. So let me split the column. So I go to transform and I click the split column. So once I click the split column by delimiter, and then after that, I just press OK. So just let me remove all the columns. So this column I remove. This column until towards this column I want to remove, and then after that I'll need to proceed to the end. So this column 16 until the end I just remove. So basically what I want is, I want a column dedicated for the region, for the cities, for the products, and then I also want the models and also the respective months and also the sales. So before that, I need to select these two columns, right click, and then I fill down. So by filling down, the data will appear downwards. So now we have proper like for region and products. Then what I want to do is, I can actually remove the first two rows and I can actually put first row as header. But however, if you notice carefully, here it shows Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. By using first row as header, it will create an error because especially when you add more files, now we have Malaysia. So if you just say there's another data, it will create an error. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just filter it out. I want to filter null and scroll down, filter the total. So in this case, it will actually exclude the January, February and so on. So what I'm going to do right now is, I want to rename this as January, and then I rename this as February is December. Okay, so now we do have all these columns over here. So what I'll do is, I'll select these first four columns, right click, unpivot other columns. So now it will unpivot and it will show us January up to June, because if you look carefully, we don't have any data from July onwards. So when it is showing blank space, it will appear null, and whenever it's null, when you unpivot, it will not show the data. So now what I'll do is, I will rename the data. So here we have region, here we have the cities, here we have the products, over here is the models, this is the months. Okay, so this one I'll just change this to a number format, so whole number, and I will select these columns and I want to change the format into a text format. Okay, so now we have already cleaned the data. So what I'll do is, I'll just go to home and close and apply. By clicking close and apply, eventually the data will be loaded to the Power BI desktop, and from here you can actually create the visual. So you want to know about the performance of the product, the performance of the model, up to you, you can actually do that. So for example over here, so now we have this data over here. So just say I want to actually know the performance of Apple products. So I'll just do what? I'll click a table format. I will just tick the products. I'll take the values. So when I take the product, I'll take the values. It will show me the performance of the product and also the respective values. And of course, you can actually expand this accordingly. And over here, so what you can do is, you can actually go to the column headers, and under column headers we have option. So it's up to you whether you want to grow to fit or fit to content. It's up to you actually. And if you want to increase the size, what you can do is, you can actually go to the values and you increase the size. Maybe you put here about 20. And then you can go to the column header and then you can actually put here also 20. Okay, so there you go. So now this is the data, and if you want to put in a proper accounting format, you just select this and you just select the 1000 separator. So over here it will show us in a proper format, and then when you click it over here, now it shows you, okay, 297 million goes to iPhone, and you want to actually show maybe the percentage allocation, you can just put it over here and click it over here, show value as percentage of grand total. So right now what you can actually see is about almost 50% of the sales has been dominated by the iPhones. Okay, and if you want to rename, you can just rename. So maybe I'll put here as total sales, and over here is the percentage apportionment in the form of percentage. Okay, so now this is our data. There you go. And let me just put it down over here, and then I can also know maybe the top 5 or the top 10 product models. So let me just click the clustered bar chart, and let me just tick the models and tick the values. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put it over here. So apparently what we can understand is iPad 10 generation is the highest sales, and I can just put the data label so that you can see clearly. And if just say you want to show maybe top 5, so what you can do is, model is all. So you put your basic filtering, you change to top N, you put here 5, and then you drag the value, you put at the value here, because initially you cannot press apply filter. So when you drag the value, put it over here and apply filter, just like that, we got to know what is the top 5 sales. And then you can actually put the slicer as well. So when I put the slicer, and maybe I want the slicer by the cities. So when I put the slicer by cities, maybe I want to choose in a tile format. Okay, so now when it appears in a tile format, so now we get to see what is the performance of the respective cities. So just like that, we get to understand. Okay, so if you just say in Ipoh, what we understand is, okay, still iPhone dominates, but the most sale product is iPhone 14 Pro. In Kuala Lumpur, we have iPad, Kuantan, iPad, Seremban, iPad, Sungai Petani also iPad. But what if just say we add new data? So when we add just say new files, so initially in this globals Apple sales, we only have one file. So now if just say I put China, England, Japan, I just drag these files and put it inside. Once you drag the files and put it inside, what you need to do is you just have to press refresh. By pressing refresh, you will notice that new data will be loaded. So right now you will notice there are some changes. Like for example, when I clear the selection, you will notice that this one initially is about 50%, but now we got to know that about 34% dominated by iPhone. And we can see the results like by Beijing, Fukuoka, Guangzhou, Ipoh, Liverpool, London, and so on. And if just say I want to add more, so just say I add the respective files from Maharashtra up to USA, put it over here, and then what I do is I just press refresh. By clicking refresh, you will notice the data will automatically be updated. So basically, if just say you want to actually compile all the work files into one database, you can actually use get data and don't use Excel workbook. You click more and you choose the folder. So basically, we can actually use Power Query to do the data compilation, data cleaning, and we can use Power BI to do the data presentation.